Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. It's good to be back here on another edition. So how are you doing? And I am with Lolly M. Kamara. Kamara, good morning.
Good
how are
morning,
you? How have you been? We miss you.
Really?
Yes, we miss you on this platform.
Okay.
How have you been?
Good. I've been doing good. Just that I don't think I missed the show though. I've been watching and I've been following you.
Yeah, watching and being on the show could
It's
be quite
different.
a little bit different. But
I'm so glad to be back here again. So good to be.
It's good to have you, Lolly.
Thank
you.
you.
Good to link with you. And
Thank you.
Mr. Ade Drame is our newspaper review guest.
Yes.
Mr. Ade, how are you?
I'm fine, as I was yesterday. So it's good to be back already.
Oh, you're yesterday.
I was yesterday's newspaper man.
Okay, yeah. So
yes, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you very much. It's a pleasure, to join us on this program. And we'll take a look at the African Code this morning. And from the Code, the newspaper review. From the review, then breast cancer awareness. As you know, it's the month for breast cancer. And of course, it sounds funny when the other day I was discussing with my colleagues in the office. And when they said breast cancer screening, and some gentlemen were out and about for breast screening.
Including myself, about 7 of us.
It's something that have to be done by men as well. About 7 of them.
Yeah.
From this office, yes.
I've never tested for breast screening before.
You should, because the chances of men getting it is not zero. It's very low, but it is not zero. And as long as it's not zero, you could be the one unfortunate who has it. So no problem getting screened.
But there should be what we call a suspicious mind, sort of, whereby you try feeling something hard, within your nipple area, to be able to go in for it. Or do you just have to go in for it without feeling any lump or anything?
You might not be the best judge, because sometimes, even for women, they might convince themselves, oh, it's nothing. And then, let somebody independent do the examination and tell you, somebody who's qualified.
Especially, an expert in that field.
So, you're not usually
exactly. So we will be talking to Dr. Lamin Jaite, a consultant general and surgeon at Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. He would be here. And later we'll be linking to the conference center. Aliou Cisse will brief viewers on the 12th edition of Mark Foundation on Africa-Asia Luminary Conference 2025.
Yeah, we've got 6 first ladies from across Africa are attending. So there'll be 7, including our own first lady, and they'll all be there. So they've been flying in over the last
couple of days. Well, I can remember the Mark Foundation. They've been organizing such kind of conferences in different parts of the world. I remember when one of our colleagues even attended, that's Aliou Cisse.
Right.
Yes, I can remember a few years back he was in attendance to one of the conference. Yeah, so we'll delve into that later. So let's take a look at the African Code. Lolly, can you, we give you the honor to read that for us.
All right, no problem. Thank you for that. So the African proverb reads, if the rooster follows those fetching water, it is because it can no longer find those pounding grains. It's a Mandinka proverb.
Yeah. What the hell does it mean?
If the rooster follows those fetching water, it is because it can no longer find those pounding grains. Half your bread is better than none.
So here,
that's what it's talking about.
So here, the animal that we're talking about is always, it's always around
where they pound,
trying to find some grains
to peck.
It's the big hen, the big chicken.
Yes,
yeah, I know.
So,
but they're 2 different things. One is water, one is grain. One's quite dry.
So now, if it can find, if it has to follow the people going to the river to fetch water, then there is something wrong.
Yeah.
What happened to where it has been, chopping the grains before?
Okay, so take it out of the literal sense of the rooster. What is the kind of broader if you can't find what you want somewhere else, or you have to go and look somewhere else, I guess.
Yes, you have to always get, you know, so what it means, we always know it is around within that area.
Yeah.
It is always there.
Yeah.
So if it has to change its course, that meaning, you know, it's no longer finding anything where it used to feed itself.
Okay, okay.
So it has to find another alternative.
Okay.
So, you know, I think...
what is water an alternative to rice?
No. So like you said,
I'm being deliberately difficult here because of
yeah. So you have to find something else.
Something else.
Yes,
so if I find this place, you know, not
very appeasing,
yes.
very comfortable, very...
Because the thing is, if I'm the rooster and I'm not getting my rice where I normally, I'll go and look for rice somewhere else. I'm not going to look for water.
No, so I'll find, maybe I'll see them going, I'll just follow them to know what they're going to do, or where they're going to get, what they're going to get at the end of the journey.
Probably that is the only option, that is the only location where you can get the grains.
Something.
You understand?
Or get something.
Yes, you can get something.
Because water is not... No, it says specifically those fetching water.
Do you know you can survive on water?
Yes.
If you don't have food, you can survive on water for some days.
For a while. Yes,
yeah, for a while, you know. Yes. Yeah, so we received a message from our, you know, beautiful presenter, Julde Njai. She said, good evening from Beijing. I mean, she's sending us a message.
From where?
Beijing,
okay.
You know, China. So, Julde, how are you? We miss you already, you know.
I hope she's sending in an interpretation of the proverb, because she's always dodging it when she's on air.
So you better send
Julde,
your
wonderful viewers are watching. Please, interpret the proverb for us, man. All right. So it's telling you, the Wolof proverb, we have a very famous Wolof saying that says, okay, ko amut yaay nampamam. Loli, you can relate. You must understand.
Which means?
If you don't have a mother,
if your mom is
not around, your grandmother breastfeeds you.
Can breastfeed.
You understand? So that's the only option, because that's the only option you have. So you have to take it. You know, it reminds me of a childhood days whereby one of our colleagues, I mean, the wife died. You know, sort of, it's not that much young, but they got a child, and the grandmother was taking care of the baby.
Yeah, that happens.
To an extent of even breastfeeding.
Me too. My own older sister, you know, gave birth around 8 months. So she couldn't breastfeed the child. So my mom have to take, the child is like 2 to 3 years now. She's walking, she's talking, and you know, she's very smart, you know.
So those things happen. It's telling you if there is only an option, that's the only option you're going to use.
So the rooster finds no grains there anymore. So I have to change. So what do I do next? I still have to survive. Maybe I have to follow these people on the road. Anything could happen, you know. I can't still be looking for no grains.
Were you in a situation where you know, okay, this is the only option. This is the only thing that I can choose. I cannot, I don't have multiple options.
I guess if I had time to think about it, we've all probably been in situations like that, you know, one way or another. I mean, you know, there was a time when I was not well and we were driving they gave me one of the Q group drivers to drive me. And as we got to Abuko, a car was coming the wrong way at speed on our side of the road. So we actually had to cross over so that we were then going on the wrong side of the road to avoid. We would have been killed.
Yeah,
I mean, he was coming at such speed. I don't know what happened. And then, you know, all the people started applauding my driver, saying, hey, world's best driver, world's best driver. Because that was the only option, was for us to go against the traffic, because the traffic on the other side was a bit slower. So we were able to go there, and then people stopped, and they realized that we'd done that to avoid being hit. And then this guy was apologizing, and they were saying, oh, he's a semester. It's like, what? But why are you driving at speed on the wrong side of the road? Not just on the wrong side, but at speed. At speed. And so, you know, that was the only option, was to avoid being killed.
And you have to divert.
We then did what he was doing, except we weren't going at speed. We had to, you know, divert.
Mr. Ade, imagine living your whole life with all the things that you've done, your experience, your work, you've traveled the world, and one reckless driver, I mean, with that type of attitude, accidentally killed the individual on the highway.
It can happen. I mean, I was speaking to some people the other day about I don't know, it might have been here on the program. Yes, I was talking about the Brazilian footballer Denner. I mean, he just signed a big contract. The one I was saying, they called him the god of dribbling.
Dribble.
The one who said, you know, the dribble was sometimes more beautiful than the goal. And he was on his way to fly out to a contract. He'd been given a contract abroad. And this fancy car, which he had insisted they had given him in his Brazilian club as part of his signing on fee, a friend of his was driving. And that friend fell asleep at the wheel. And he broke both his legs, the friend, but Denner was killed.
Subhanallah.
The very day he was meant to fly out of Brazil.
The footballer himself?
The footballer himself, he was killed. He was killed. And
wow.
People, even, I was watching the documentary and he said before that guy, nobody called their children Denner, but he was such a popular player that now you go to Brazil, there are lots of young children called Denner in honor of him because he was so beloved, because Brazilians love that kind of flair, that kind of skill and so on. And yes, one reckless moment, this guy who everybody thought was going for what was the biggest move of his career, and he was dead in an instant.
Wow.
I mean, unfortunately, I mean, the media were there immediately, and they started showing his dead body in the car. People were outraged, you know, and some fans who were passing by then decided to cover his body with newspaper just because, you know, it just looked terrible that they were showing. But it was shown almost live on TV, and, you know, they sort of broke into the news broadcast to say that Denner has been killed. He'd been selected for the Brazil national team, and you know, yeah.
Oh,
So yes,
so
one reckless moment, and
yeah, ended everything.
ended a very promising, what seemed to be a very promising career. So yeah, reckless driving can
It's good to be very careful, to be cautious sometimes.
Yeah.
But even this morning, someone bumped behind me, like my vehicle, as I was coming, and I had goop. But I realized the impact will not be very
It was a
serious.
gentle
Yeah,
bump.
so that was just a kiss.
Yes.
You understand? So I was like, I looked at the mirror and I saw the guy. He was somehow panicked. And I said to him, what happened? He said to me, I'm sorry. I left.
And you moved.
You know, I didn't even want to waste my time on the traffic.
So you didn't even check to see
No, I didn't even
whether
check,
there was
because
any damage?
the way he touched me, I realized
it was a
won't-
gentle bump.
it
Maybe he
won't-
was on his phone, he wasn't paying
Probably,
attention or
Yeah.
something.
probably. You know, and the reason why I didn't say it, because I once found myself in that type of
Yeah,
situation.
it can happen.
I also bumped into someone,
Right.
and I realized how that situation is, so I didn't bother much.
Yeah.
If it's a scratch, I can go spray it.
Yes.
Yes. So viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, then we will take a look at some of the newspapers. We'll be back.
Opticalia, Gambia's leader in optical care with 5 locations offering the best in visual health. With cutting-edge European technology, Opticalia delivers single vision lenses in just 20 minutes. At Opticalia, we care about our future. Eye exams are free for individuals under 18, ensuring everyone has access to quality eye care. But it's not just about vision. Opticalia also provides advanced audiology services to ensure your hearing health is in the best hands. Our audiology services offer European standard hearing aids and diagnostics, ensuring everyone can hear clearly. Whether it's testing or treatment, you can trust Opticalia for your auditory care. Opticalia offers European standard products, fair prices, and exceptional value all under one roof. Visit Opticalia at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia, or call us on 7767-121 or at any of our regional branches. Banjul 7767-126, Brikama 7767-123, Farafenni 7767-124, Basse 7767-125. Opticalia, love what you see and hear.
We are back. You are watching QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Obalde. And now we are moving to the headlines on the papers. We have the Point newspaper and the main headline, Scorpions intend to boycott today's march with Seychelles in protest.
Yes.
Yeah, so they are protesting. And we ought to know what are they protesting about? I mean,
I
what
think
actually
part
happened?
of it is to do with
Payment, allowance, probably.
Okay, you finish it then.
No. I was just trying to connect so that we can know this have been happening, Mr. Ade. You can continue.
It's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with payment.
Okay.
It's to do with. It's kind of reflective of some of the problems we have in Africa with travel, where you have to go here to go there. So I'll give you a quick example. Yesterday, Cabo Verde played Eswatini. Eswatini is next to South Africa. And because they missed one flight that would have brought them straight to Cabo Verde, they had to go to Dubai to come to West Africa.
Dubai.
So from South Africa. And so they arrived less than 24 hours before the match, which is probably no surprise that they lost.
No time
I
to
mean,
relax.
they were probably lost anyway because they were the bottom team in that group. But it just shows you how little options there are. So the Gambia team apparently had quite an arduous journey getting there. And I certainly heard that they had refused to train because they didn't have much recovery time. But this headline is the first I've heard that they are threatening to boycott the match. I would advise them not to do that.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you if they have to boycott them, what would that, mean for the Gambia? Because I don't know what the stage.
The consequences could be quite serious. FIFA, CAF, and these governing bodies, they don't take these things lightly.
Sure.
So if a team boycotts it for the reasons that I've explained here, there could be sanctions on the team. It could be as drastic as banning us from competing in AFCON, banning us from competing in World Cup. It's a World Cup qualifier. We've had instances recently where a country's government has withdrawn a team. So Eritrea, because they were losing all their games, the president took them out of the World Cup qualifier. So they're not competing anymore.
So the president said, okay, come back.
You're not
It's
gonna
been a
waste our
dictatorship for
resources.
35 years. You're not going to embarrass us by losing all. But also, one of the reasons why he took them out is that conditions are quite tough in Eritrea, and a lot of their players had been absconding. And so, unless they send 20 footballers and 40 soldiers to guard them, people were running away. And so they decided.
Where were they playing this match?
Eritrea, they're an African country.
I know.
No, almost everywhere they've gone, some of them have fled.
They keep
Almost
fleeing.
every.
So the players themselves.
The players I'm talking about, the players, and even some officials.
Wow.
But of course, with the players, some of them have been scared because there might be reprisals against their family members who remain in Eritrea. Eritrea has some good things going for it, but it's kind of Africa's own version of North Korea in a way. It has a huge diaspora population who send back millions every year. But everybody has to do army service, everybody.
In Eritrea.
Adult. And it used to be for 2 years, but some people have been 10 years in the army. They have not been allowed to leave. So because of that and other reasons.
So how long have
this
dictator been ruling?
Since for about 35 years now. Afewerki, he's been there, and he has, for example, he's refused to take aid from all these big donor nations that are busy donating to various African countries. They've struggled a bit, and life is quite hard there.
Yeah, I think they only depend on natural resources there.
Yeah, that they have, and they depend on natural resources and their diaspora. Diaspora remittances are a huge part of their GDP.
Yes.
So
although there will not be loans and big loans from their country.
Yeah, he's trying to show that countries can survive without these loans. And some African countries and presidents have kind of looked at him rather enviously and thought, I wish I could do that. But it comes with other
challenges too.
Restrictions as well. So even though, I mean, for example, the diaspora can vote, but when you only have a one-party state, what's the point of voting? And so what they do is that at their embassies around the world, Eritreans can go and pay a certain amount of money, and that goes to a kind of development fund, which then pays for infrastructure. So they then don't have to depend on all these external loans from IMF, World Bank, even Africa Development Bank, and so on.
So do you think that is a wise idea? I mean, you are putting it on your citizens to go and pay these funds. Some of them will pay them without their wish.
Well, let me put it this way. In the Gambia, Gambian citizens abroad send up to $1 billion, not dollars, $1 billion a year
and
to the Gambia.
It's more than even all the 8 combined.
All the 8 combined for the next 10 years. And yet it goes only to our families, okay? Now imagine if you said to that same Gambian, supposing you send £10 to your family and you send £2 or £3 or £5 to a kind of national development fund, it would transform the Gambia.
Sure.
Trust me, it would transform the Gambia. But we don't think like that. We don't think like that. So it has its bad side. But, we need in Africa to wean ourselves off aid because the money is there from ourselves. Ethiopia, Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, when nobody wanted to give them the money, they started to raise it themselves. It's now built and it's functioning. So, it can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah. So what else do we have?
I think
so scorpions, I don't know how we got from scorpions to this, but Eritrea.
Eritrea. Kind of, conversation has been, widened.
It's been hijacked by Eritrea. Yeah.
So Omar Badji's inquest held in chambers. That's also another headline on the foreign newspaper.
Yes, I mean, people had thought that for the sake of transparency, it should be held in public, but it is now being held behind closed doors. That's not going to inspire public trust.
No.
If you want public trust,
it has to be in an open,
in other countries, something like this would be held in open
courts,
in open session, rather, where the inquest will be in open session. Given the amount of public interest there is in it, so in the public interest, it should be held in open session. Not that, I don't know whose idea or whose decision this was, but it's not a wise one.
No.
Because, it's not like he was killed in secret.
No.
It happened in the open. So where is the session? I'd love to know the reasons.
The reason why they have to do it
behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors, yeah.
So Gambia records up to 60 road accidents monthly.
Oh.
Ibrahim Masilla.
Please don't get me started.
60, Mr. Ade, that is a lot. That's quite a lot.
That's actually quite small, because if you and I and everybody in QTV started, I mean, our colleague Malik Carr has said this, if we started recording all the accidents that we see daily, it's more than 60 just in the area where we live. So if you extend that nationally, trust me, 60 is a minuscule number.
In a month.
150,
What happened? Is it lack of good drivers, experienced drivers?
Yes, because you have people who will tell you quite without shame that, I didn't even take a driving test and I got my license. One person told me, in fact, I'll try and convince him if he can come on air and say it. He said he'd never even sat behind the wheel of a car.
And he got
He got a driving license. Wow. I swear, I'm not making this up.
No, I've also heard that type of
a colleague in this office. So when you have people like that, and they think that, some people think that because they can move a car from A to B, and back to A,
They are
that means they
qualified
can
to drive, yeah.
That doesn't make you a driver.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
there are things
So
you need to...
on the screen now, you are
That's
watching
the First Lady.
the First Lady's arrival at the conference center. And, you know, today 6 First Ladies from different parts of the world.
And the lady in the middle there is she's the Merck Foundation.
Yeah, so we have Aliou Cissé there. Aliou will take us through as to what is happening at the conference center. Aliou, good morning. How are you?
All right. So I think that was just the arrival.
We proceed.
I think they were just flashing us.
Yeah, we would be talking to Aliou later. Yeah, so experience when it comes to driving. You understand?
You know, I'll just share my curiosity with you. While in the UK, I've not had a single horn, Mr. Ade.
Yes.
For 2 good weeks, I've not had a single horn. I was like, hey, guys.
Don't people blow their horn
you guys don't use your horn or you don't have it?
When you blow horn at some people, you know, I've witnessed a scenario like that. There was a guy walking and a man blew his horn. Boop! And the guy was furious. He said, why do you have to horn me like that? Am I a madman? So normally he said people that are not very focused or conscious, those are the people that you horn.
The thing is,
and they all follow the
blow their horn
rules.
for everything.
They respect the rules there.
They stop at traffic
If the
lights.
traffic is flowing nice,
They stop at zebra crossings.
I
mean, even today, at 2 separate zebra crossings, when we stopped,
another car
other cars drove.
They will not stop.
They always do that.
And the pedestrian had to
I'll tell you something.
do that. I mean, they weren't driving at speed, but they drove at the pedestrian.
These zebra crossings, they're going to kill a lot of people. I'm telling you.
Because they don't respect, most drivers don't respect it. And what I noticed also is some zebra crossings are really fading away. You can't tell whether it's really a zebra crossing.
If you go outside, what's the mosque here? There are 2 outside Pipeline Mosque. One of them's almost completely faded. And the other one is...
so I was like, I think they have to paint it again because people would know it's a zebra crossing spot and you have to stop on it.
Respect it.
You know, so I think stuff like that, really counts too. Because here, drivers, they don't have patience.
They don't even...
The moment the one in front stops, the other is going to divert. Because they say, you have time to waste. I have no time to waste. Not knowing that is the reason why the first car stopped.
Last week, my brother was coming to work, he was on his way to work, and there was a lady with almost 7 school children. You understand? So when this driver stopped for the lady to pass, another driver was coming with full speed, Mr.
Oh no, that was going to be serious.
My brother said the way we struggled to stop that driver, we all shouted, let him stop. There are people coming. He said if he didn't stop, he would have caused the biggest tragedy on that highway.
That's it. And so what you've just said is something that most of us as drivers have to do on a daily basis. Say to somebody, stop, there's a reason why I stopped. Because they can't see why you stop, but they must see that it's a zebra.
Just stop for a
minute. But that's where the zebra crossing come into play.
That's it. They must know that, why has this person stopped at the zebra crossing? Because people are crossing. But no, you have to flag them down because they're coming at such speed. You know they're not going to.
Mr. Ade, thank you.
Have we got Aliou now?
Director said it's time to close this segment.
Okay, cool.
Unfortunately, we were having a nice chat with Lolly. It's beautiful. This is beautiful. And I hope, Lolly, you will be here tomorrow.
What's tomorrow? Tomorrow I have work to do. I have.
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Yes, I am coming in the afternoon tomorrow.
Please come in the morning and go home.
No, Mr. Balde, you have to pay for it.
All right, so viewers, we'll take a short break. Ms. Ade, thank you very much for reviewing some of the stories, although we would have loved to go on and on.
Again and again.
I'll do some more digging into this scorpion thing.
Please. So we'll be right back.
Dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kan adung adabe soniaring wala nyama imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring nyindum kiusel doronda sinyin nati aleno ibori yela kiusel line ota customer care mi suti atima bi kiusel network mi warta network beti adung adabe soniaring kiusel sunu boss ntollanga silo walang dolia bulan noma
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you The eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Bokal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool kool bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear. I relentlessly walk, push, strain, and
Yes, we are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Now let's move on to the other segment of this program.
Yes.
And Loli will be talking about breast cancer awareness. This is the month, and we have Dr. Lamin Jaite,
Yes.
Consultant General Surgeon at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. Mr. Jaite, it's good to have you.
It's good to be here.
By the way, that's a nice watch. Is that a designer watch? It looks good.
Well,
Balde is putting you on the spot.
yeah, I thought I was talking about breast cancer. But
See?
we can start with watches.
But that watch looks good. I love it.
He always
Well,
does
thank
that.
I am very fascinated about watches. I love them. I have a collection of different watches in
See?
the house. Yes.
Wow.
See?
You know, if my friends are coming from UK, America, tell them please get me a watch.
I mean,
Yes.
they are
That's
good
a nice
items,
start.
yeah.
It's a good start.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's
definitely.
it. So it's good to have you so that we can discuss this. I mean, breast cancer, Loli.
Yes. So, Dr. Lamin Jaite, good to have you on the show. It's Breast Cancer Month, also known as Pink October. So you can see I am in pink, you know, showing solidarity with people, you know, around the world. So let's talk about breast cancer. When we say breast cancer, what is really breast cancer?
Okay, thank you first of all for having me on this platform. And I think it's important that we talk about breast cancer in October and even outside October. But again, it's a month that's dedicated to breast cancer awareness creation. So coming back to your question about what breast cancer is, I think number one, it's not a death sentence. Let me just put that out there. Because once you hear breast cancer, people think that, okay, I'm going to die, or you know, whoever has breast cancer is going to die. That is a myth. It doesn't mean when somebody has breast cancer, they're going to die. It is a condition, true, and it does need to be treated. So breast cancer is generally cancer that affects the breast. And when we talk about cancer, it just means, in very simplistic terms, cells within the breast that have gone out of control. It's just like you have an army, and then usually the army follows particular orders. But you can have rebels that come out, and then eventually those rebels start, you know, rebelling against the nation. So cancer is something like that, cells that are rebellious. And when I say rebellious, it means that the cells are out of control and they do whatever they want. And that is actually what we see as one of the most common signs is a lump. A lump is cells that are growing out of control, and then they eventually, you know, if it's in the breast, it's breast cancer. If it's in the lungs, it's lung cancer. So basically cells out of control, which affects the breast, and it's the most common cancer around the world.
Okay, so because it's the most common cancer around the world, that's why we always talk about it as the breast cancer. But I think there are other forms of cancer, right?
Yeah, so when I say, I would qualify the most common type of cancer amongst women, you know, is breast cancer, when you talk about female cancers. In Gambia, it's number 2 because we have another cancer that's actually caused by an infection, HPV virus. So that causes cervical cancer. But in most other countries around the world, they've been able to eliminate cervical cancer. So breast cancer is number 1. In Gambia, we're still battling with that. So that's why it's number 2. But even at that position of number 2 is quite prominent and frequent in this country.
So we talk, it's common. So like the numbers, are they on the rise, or, you know, are they decreasing?
They are. Generally, Gambia and most developing nations, we're having a shift when it look at disease patterns. We're moving away from infectious diseases and having more and more what's called NCDs, or non-communicable diseases. So those are diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and obviously cancer, cardiovascular diseases. So again, now you're seeing more and more people with diabetes, more and more people with high blood pressure, and obviously more and more people with cancer. And some of this has to do with their lifestyles. Our grandparents were a lot more active than us. They were eating better food than us, although we think that we're having processed food, so it's better, but they were eating healthier. Let me just put it that way. So in terms of numbers, the numbers are increasing. Statistically, breast cancer affects 1 out of 8 women within their life cycles. It may not seem a lot when you look at that individual figure, but when you look at it at the population level, it's a huge number. It's somewhere around 12 to 15% of all the women population would have breast cancer at some point in their life. That's a huge number. The other thing that's peculiar about Gambia, which is a bit different from most other developed nations, is that we're having breast cancer patients at a younger age. So, for instance, in Europe and America, the average age of breast cancer is about 50, 60. In Gambia, if you look at it, our average is about 35, 40. So we're having young patients as young as 25 having breast cancer. So again, this is an alarming thing because these are, the cream of our society. These are young people, women, sisters, wives, who are the core of the family. So you imagine if somebody at that tender age has breast cancer, then the whole family unit, unfortunately, would be affected. So I think it's, globally, it's a problem. But I think in countries like Gambia, Sub-Saharan Africa, it's even more of a problem because of the age category that it affects.
Oh, that's really alarming. Statistically, the numbers are on the rise. And I also heard, some doctors would say it's a challenge for them because when people go to check and they detect some, like they got cancer, breast cancer, they never return back to the hospital. That's a big challenge most, healthcare workers are having to deal with. So as a doctor and surgeon, what would be your advice to people? Like you started with, it's not a death sentence.
Early detection.
How do we really fight that myth?
Yeah, so I think the fight is on multiple levels. Obviously, as doctors, we're fighting it in the hospital. But I don't think the fight can be won in the hospital. I think this fight has to be done within the community, and it's not just doctors, but it's everyone. And the whole idea and essence of Pink October, or celebrating breast cancer in October, commemorating rather, is that with awareness creation, where we would be able to eventually fight and defeat breast cancer. And the reason why I say that is breast cancer, number one, is not a death sentence. The stigma around breast cancer is engulfed in myths and misconceptions. People don't really know what it's about. And unfortunately, because people have seen breast cancer patients come at a late stage, wherein even if you're in the most advanced countries, there's really not much you can do about it because breast cancer or cancers in general tend to be more manageable when you detect it early. So as a community, how do you fight this is creating awareness. When you create awareness, people are aware and the stigma around it goes down. Because if somebody comes to the hospital and you're told you have breast cancer, sometimes it's not about the breast cancer itself, it's how would society see me? How would they look at me?
Stigma.
The stigma around it is a very, very big issue. And once we're able to create awareness and people understand that if, maybe a family member has breast cancer or a neighbor has breast cancer, it's just like any other condition. Somebody has malaria today, nobody's going to be stigmatized for malaria because we know. But malaria actually kills. The only difference is that we tend to detect malaria earlier because obviously malaria has signs and symptoms that come out very loudly and clearly. So people are able to say, you have a fever, you're vomiting, so you obviously go to the hospital. But with cancer, it's very silent. So by the time you realize it, it's probably very, very advanced. But again, just coming back to the stigma, I think awareness creation would reduce the stigma around it. And somebody going to the hospital and being told you have breast cancer, most likely wouldn't think that if I go back to society, I'll be looked in a particular way. Oh, this patient is dying, so even at work they wouldn't really bother because they think that you're about to go. So you're not part of the community or the society because obviously you have an illness that's going to take you out. So again, awareness creation is very, very important. Hopefully, once we're able to do that within the community, it would help doctors in the hospital.
So let's talk about the risk factors of breast cancer. Yes.
Yes, so it's good that you mentioned risk factors because Cancer, most cancers, we don't really know what causes them. We know that there are things that can increase the chances or likelihood of having cancer. And those are the risk factors, like you rightly mentioned. So again, just to simplify, there are a lot of risk factors, but to keep it simple, we categorize it into two. So modifiable and non-modifiable. So meaning that risk factors you can do something about and risk factors you can't do anything about. So the risk factors you can't do anything about are things like your sex. Breast cancer is more common in women. And it would be interesting for some people to know that breast cancer actually affects men as well. So if you're a woman, you're more likely to have breast cancer. Something like your age, and the older you grow, the more likely to have breast cancer. But like I mentioned, in our part of the world, we're seeing that to be affecting younger and younger, women. If you have a family history of breast cancer, meaning that you have a mother, a sister, an aunt, or a grandparent, within the family who has breast cancer, you're more likely than somebody who does not have that family history to have breast cancer. So those are some of the things that you really can't do much about. The things you can do something about to help reduce your chances of breast cancer is simply physical activity. So obesity is known to be associated with cancer and breast cancer also. So if somebody is overweight, they stand a higher risk of having breast cancer. Smoking and alcohol, although in our society, especially amongst women, it's not a major thing, but unfortunately, with the generation that's coming up, we are seeing more and more of that. So those are things that can also increase your chances of breast cancer. Things can reduce your chances are, breastfeeding. We talk about breastfeeding, being good for the child, but also for the mother. The more you breastfeed, the lower your chances of having breast cancer. So those are just a few of the risk factors or, things that can help reduce your chances of having
cancer. So is breast cancer hereditary?
Yes, breast cancer, there's certain type of breast cancer. Again, it's a very big, disease category. When we talk about breast cancer, we imagine one condition or one type of disease, but there are a multitude of diseases actually that entail breast cancer. So at the end of it, once you have a family member, like I mentioned, who has breast cancer, sometimes you have genes that are called BRCA1 and 2, which are supposed to be genes that protect you from cancer. If you have a mutation in those genes, those can be inherited within the family, and they can be passed from generation to generation, wherein, mother has breast cancer, daughter has breast cancer, sister has breast cancer. So those types of breast cancer can be hereditary in some cases.
So, Laurie, 1 minute. At what point does breast cancer get to whereby they have to cut off the breast? Because I heard about it. I've never seen that, and I pray not to see it, but I've heard about it.
Yes, and I think that's one of the reasons why people are not keen on getting treatment is because they feel that you're going to remove the breast.
Yeah.
But again, that's the whole idea of awareness, because you tend to have to remove the whole breast when the cancer affects the whole breast. So again, that's a very late presentation, meaning that cancer has so many months, perhaps years, evolving, and then eventually gets to that stage. But again, early detection, once you're detecting it early, you don't need to remove the whole breast. You can just remove the lump that's around it. But that has to go with some other complementary treatments like chemotherapy and radiotherapy in order to ensure that it doesn't come back. So early detection is key because, number one, it costs less. You would spend less time at the hospital. You would spend less money because you wouldn't have to go under a lot of medications. You wouldn't have to go under medications for a long time. And even for the country, it costs less because, again, in terms of health expenditure, you would spend less on one individual rather than, a late stage. And you have a higher chance of that individual surviving.
So how, like the medication side, do we have the medication available at our hospitals?
Yes, so when it comes to treatment, breast cancer is not treated by one method or one way. So usually breast cancer can be treated by surgery. That's actually the mainstay. That's one of the ways we're able to manage breast cancer. We need to remove it, whether that's a lump, if it's just removing the lump when it comes early, or removing the whole breast when, unfortunately, comes late. Chemotherapy is something that's available. At the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, chemotherapy drugs are available, although sometimes when they are not, when they run out of stock, some of the pharmacies here are able to provide some of the drugs. So most of our patients are able to get their drugs here. Some do get it from overseas, India or Senegal sometimes when it's out of stock. But it's something that is actually given within the hospital structure at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital and in some private facilities as well. So surgery is available, chemotherapy is available. The only thing we do not have currently is radiotherapy. And obviously the investment in that is in the tens of millions of dollars, which is a very huge investment that has to be made. And at the Ministry of Health, there are ongoing efforts to see how best to get radiotherapy into the country.
So how important is our early detection?
Very important. Again, I mentioned because you can imagine the treatment, what it entails. So obviously, if you detect it early, you can probably just do surgery and then chemotherapy, for the patient and give some cycles of radiotherapy, and then that's it. And that patient can live an almost normal life. In most Western countries, 9 out of 10 breast cancer patients who come early and get treated are still alive at 10 years. So you can imagine somebody who's diagnosed with cancer, came early, got treatment, at 10 years, they're still alive and healthy. So that's the type of, those are the type of patients we want the population to be if, they are affected by breast cancer. It's not the late stages, and it is possible through awareness creation.
Okay.
Yeah, so very important. How do we examine ourselves?
Yes, so part of the awareness creation that's being done is teaching women how to examine themselves, and it's very important. We believe, even at younger ages, in their teens, women can learn how to examine themselves. And usually that's done once a month because it's done sort of in line with their menstrual cycle, wherein they wait a week after seeing their menses because obviously there's a hormonal impact on the breast during the menses. So a week after, they are able to examine themselves. And it contains 2 steps, basically. It's just look and feel. So looking to observe whether there are any differences between the two or any changes on the skin, or is there anything that's protruding, like a lump that's sort of bulging on the skin. So that's the first step. The second step would be to feel. So again, the reason why feeling is important, even if the individual doesn't have any signs of breast cancer, is to know what the normal is. And if a woman knows what her normal feels like, once there's something abnormal, she would know that this actually is abnormal. So again, we do encourage them 1 week after seeing their menses, they would examine themselves, look and then feel, and then if there's anything abnormal, they can come to the hospital quite early.
So for older women over 40, they're not more breastfeeding. How often can they go to the hospital to check, or can they still examine themselves?
Yes, that's a very good question. So again, I mentioned, them, doing it 1 week after their menses. So if it's a woman who's in menopause, maybe 45, 50, they're obviously not having their periods anymore. So what they can do is, again, it's the same principle. It's once a month. They can just decide maybe the 1st of every month, I am going to check, or maybe the 10th of every month. The whole idea is just to do it regularly and do it once a month. Obviously, you don't want to do it every day because you're going to cause anxiety, and that's really not the objective.
No.
Yes. So again, once a month is a good interval, and then for those who don't see their menses, they can choose any day they want.
So are all breast lumps cancerous?
No. Fortunately, if you have 10 lumps, only 2 would be cancerous. So meaning 20% of all the lumps we would see in the hospital, only 20% would be cancerous, which is a good thing because, again, we don't want to spread the notion that once you have a lump, it means you have cancer. No. You can have 10 people, 10 women who come, 8 of them would have lumps that are not cancerous. But the message here is that staying at home, you would not know that whether it's cancerous or not. Even if you come to the doctors, we would not know until we do some tests. So we would examine, we would do what's called an ultrasound scan or a mammogram if it's a woman above 40, 45. And we would also do a lab test, that's a biopsy, and look at it under the microscope and see whether those cells that are there are actually cancerous or not. But fortunately, only 20% of lumps are actually cancerous. But you have to come to the hospital to know whether your lump is part of that 20 or not.
Can men check for breast cancer too?
They should check. breast cancer affects men, and it's even worse in men. And that's why I think men are part of this fight, when it comes to breast cancer. Because men tend to have smaller volumes of breast, and a small lump that's maybe of 2 centimeters, there's enough surrounding breast tissue in a woman that it wouldn't affect, the chest. But for a man, that can actually, the cancer can go onto the chest, and then can be quite serious. So men have to check more regularly.
Because the other day we really had a heated conversation. I was just laughing. One of our colleagues said he wasn't gonna check because we had this free screening. He said, "Anam gor ak wen." Only women are, asked to go. A man should not go. So thank God you just glad, and I hope he's listening.
Yes.
Guy, you have to go and check. You can't have
that's Ansumana. That's Eso. You don't need to worry about it much. It's one Ansumana Eso Nyasi, a Jola boy that we have here. He refused to test his breast. Momla Esola.
Eso condemn them doctor mine mun nga parce que am nga choose mun nga dem said.
Yeah. So there's a lot of screenings going on. We have one on the 25th and 26th at Edward Francis Small Junior Hospital. So there are other associations and foundations like the Solace Foundation, C3G I believe also are doing screenings as well. So there's an opportunity for everybody to screen. But I just want to say that apart from screening for men also have a big role in this. I mean, they need to be that support system for women, in order for them to come. A woman who knows that there's a man who's going to be by her when she's going to examine is more likely to be able to, go for consultations and come back. The example that you gave about a lady going and then not coming back, sometimes it's that support that's missing. So I think men shouldn't sit back and say that this is not our month. It's only for women. So that is something that, is a myth and should not be the
Thank
case.
you, Dr. Jaite. Thank you very much for coming. And, we've exhausted the time for this segment already. And I believe people have learned a lot. And early detection is also very significant. We should go out and test, especially there are a lot of organizations doing breast screening this time. We can see the C3G, they are also busy doing that activity. So I believe it's an opportunity for everybody. So thank you, Doctor, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So viewers, we'll be right back after the break.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fair. I relentlessly walk, push, strain, and stretched. Moments when every fiber of my being screams, give up. But the fire within me won't let me quit. Despite the burning muscles, in this sport, every moment matters. Every second counts. My failures, my dreams, my pain, my triumphs, they propel me forward beyond all limits. I am Gina Mariam Basbite, and this is Sunyubus.
In the vibrant heart of the Gambia, where life pulses with energy and connections bind us together, your number is the key that unlocks a world of possibilities. Whether you're chasing dreams, sharing passions, or simply brightening someone's day, your number matters in the symphony of our daily lives. 2 numbers connect us all. What's your number?
Ami Kole maa ngi ni Craft Market Serekunda may jaay ay malaan ay keyring te suma number mooy 522 7306.
Salaamaaleykum. Aha ko Caterpillar men faali so mi jonnam no mama si mi wara ma Kole. Wadu 3 7 3 6 9 44.
Téléphone yi leen bëggoon seen téléphone si ngeen bëgg waaw Alice baa ngi nii waaw yaa booy mooy li ma la doon di waxal ndax soo passé sa grade 9 exam bi dinaa la surprise
Papa jërëjëf papa kontaan naa papa
mooy 507 5445
jërëjëf papa kontaan naa
man la Hab Design maa ngi located Safidine man mii maay buuri ñëwkat yi dama dee ñëw birthday dress prom suma numéro mooy 345 737.
Back, you're watching QTV this morning. Today it's a very famous birthday of Mobutu Sissoco, 1930 to 1997, dictator and president of Zaire, 1965 to 97, born in the Sala Democratic Republic of Congo. Mobutu, you know, he's a very famous dictator during our time in the DRC. General Mobutu.
So it's its birthday
It's his
today?
birthday today.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are back, and Lolly now will head straight to the conference center. Aliou Cisse is all geared up and waiting for us to connect him on the QTV this morning. So let's talk to Aliou. Good morning, Aliou.
Good morning, Bande and Lolly. Like you rightly mentioned, we are live here at the OIC Conference Center here in Beguilo, where the Gambia is hosting, the 12th edition of the Mark Foundation Africa Asia Luminary. As we speak at the moment, the First Ladies of Burundi, Central African Republic, and Liberia have arrived here at the venue, being received by the First Lady Fatima Barbaro, who is hosting this event in collaboration with the Mark Foundation. As you know, we're expecting 6 to 7 First Ladies from across Africa, who will join the First Lady in hosting this very much important event. The CEO of the Mark Foundation, Rasa Kletch, also arrived in the country yesterday, and we're expecting more First Ladies. Of course, the Central African Republic and Sao Tome are all expected to arrive here any moment from now. And from the arrival, they will go upstairs where we're going to have the formal opening ceremony of this very important conference, being attended by health professionals from across, Africa and Asia, and of course, invited media professionals. Mark Foundation is very much involved in terms of, promoting health, and of course, girls and women empowerment in Africa and Asia. And having the Gambia host this event is by no means a small thing for this country. We know previously the last 3 editions were hosted in Dubai, India, and last year was in Tanzania. And this year, the First Lady of the Gambia took, the opportunity to say, okay, you know what, Gambia, as small as we may be, but I believe, we can host this important event. And that is exactly what is happening here in the country, and unless if I'm right, but I think this is the first time that we receive this number of First Ladies, in the Gambia for such an important occasion, Bande. So basically, in the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, we're going to see, health professionals really discuss about health issues that is affecting the continent, but equally to come out with solutions to address some of the health challenges, that we are facing. There will also be a media training for journalists tomorrow, on health-related issues, by experts to help them better understand, what some of the health issues are. Personally, as a 3-time winner of the Mark Foundation Media Award, I have attended, 3 of their trainings, both in person and virtual. So tomorrow we are going to have a very important media training for journalists. But for today, like I said, it's going to be the formal opening ceremony, and any moment from now, we are going to witness the formal opening. I understand the Vice President is going to represent the President of the Republic, who, as we understand, is currently on a vacation in his village of Mankamankunda, but the Vice President will be here. The Chief Justice, Hassan Bijal, has also arrived, here at the venue. So we're expecting to receive, high senior government officials, to join the First Lady, and of course, other First Ladies from the continent for this important conference here in Banjul.
Thank you very much, Aliou Cisse. So it will be very important for you to go inside and show us what's happening, the environment, the people. We would definitely love to see the setup inside.
So that's what we will do. While you continue discussing in the studio, we'll just take a walk upstairs and show you exactly how the main hall looks like, as delegates are already seated, awaiting to receive the First Ladies for the formal opening ceremony. We'll go upstairs and show you exactly what's happening there.
Thank you, yes. So Lolly, while Aliou is walking step by step towards the hall inside, there's a statement that I keep denying. We normally say Gambia, as small as we are, it doesn't matter. What is more important? Just be impactful. Just be able to deliver. That's the most important.
And this is a very important conference. Like 6 first ladies from different countries will be joining the Gambia's first lady, making it 7th to have this very important forum here. Like I said, it is an important conference. They were talking about things that are related to health, you know, how we can improve our health systems, we can better empower women and girls. So we're looking forward to see some of the discussions that will emanate from the conference today. And like you said, tomorrow the media training, it's really an important component of this conference.
Yeah, very significant.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll be also participating, inshallah, because you know most of my activities were you know recently related to health. So now, it is going to be very important to take part in it and you know better enhance our work.
It will be another addition to
absolutely
your
to the work we do, because we always report on health matters, health issues. So having such training from experts across the country or the continent to come and you know discuss with you at length, that is really going to be a plus for us, and we will
absolutely.
Look forward to it.
You know, this
so they're welcoming guys. The first lady, that's the CEO, the first lady of the Gambia, and I can tell the other one, the white. Yeah, but I think they're very important guys.
Well, I mean, seeing people of this caliber gathering in the Gambia, first of all, you have to think about the peace that we have in this country. That is the bedrock foundation of
the
everything.
smiling coast.
Yeah, so without peace, we would
Nothing
not
will
even
work.
have qualified, I mean, to host it. So it's important for us to be maintaining the peace that we have in this West Africa region. Yeah, so I know any moment from now, Aliou Ceesay must be in the hall now to tell us what's happening. But we are seeing arrivals of VIPs and VVIPs.
First ladies are arriving, yes.
First ladies
are arriving at the guests, and we have our own very first lady, Fatoumata Barbaro, welcoming her guests to the venue, yes, to the conference hall. Yeah, it's really an important
and, you
conference.
Know, health is something that Africa has been struggling with, and it is very important for us to have foundations that would definitely be talking and also teaching people on certain things related to health. You know, when you look at the health system within Africa, everybody is struggling lowly. Today, when a person is sick, there are certain things that they'll tell you need treatment abroad. And you know, while these are things that one can bring, I mean, the doctor was here and he said there is a machine that they cannot buy, and the ministry is trying to see how to purchase it, how expensive it is. So I think those are all things that should be looked into.
So it's through partnerships like this, you know, they're able to do certain things in the country, because through the Fatoumata Barbaro Foundation and the Mark Foundation, they've been, you know, collaborating, and recently they have supported each other in, you know, so many things, especially with equipment, supporting women, supporting girls, you know. So it's always good to have such partnerships and build networks, because at the end of the day, it's going to be very fruitful, especially when you know the country that you're coming from, you need kind of support. So, you know, having to bank on these organizations like this or foundations like this really will, you know, help.
So we'll
push
talk
forward.
to Aliou Ceesay. He's on the line. He will just take us through. After Aliou's conversation, we wrap up the program.
Sure.
Hello, Aliou. Yes, Aliou, we are seeing you. Now you can take us through.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Bande. Like you mentioned earlier on, just showing you what was happening downstairs, the first lady receiving, the other first ladies. We are now at the main conference hall, and right behind me, like I mentioned, these are delegates from both Africa and Asia. And of course, it includes, health professionals and, of course, journalists from across Asia and Africa, who are, like I said, in the next, 2 days are going to be engaged in a very important, deliberations regarding health issues, but equally looking at the issue of girls and women empowerment, in both Africa and Asia. Like I said, we're expecting several First Ladies, to attend this important, occasion here. Like I said, the First Lady of, First Lady of Sao Tome and Principe is here. The First Lady of Liberia, the First Lady of Senegal, Marie Kone Faye is also attending this important event. The First Lady of Burundi, the First Lady of Central African Republic, and of course, the First Lady of Nigeria is also expected, in Banjul, for this important event. But for now, this is what's happening. Guests are seated and then awaiting the arrival of the First Ladies for the formal opening ceremony. Like you see, that's the setup, where they're going to have the opening ceremony. It's really, Jibril and Bande, it's well decorated, for this important event. This shows you how important, the Mark Foundation, of course, in collaboration with the Office of the First Lady of the Gambia, really, take this event to be, and that is going to be their setup. That's where they're going to sit, and each of the First Ladies is going to issue a statement at this formal opening ceremony. But also, like I said, the Vice President of the Republic, Mohamed B.S. Jallow, is deputizing for the President, and like I said, senior government officials here, health professionals, experts. That's what you're saying is what's happening here. Most of them are health professionals, but equally journalists as well. So Bande and Lolly, that's currently what is happening here. Like I said, most of the senior government officials are out here. I'm saying the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Office of the President, Auntie Ami Bojang Sissoho, is equally here. So that shows you the importance, the government, attaches to this important conference here in Banjul.
Yeah, so Aliou Ceesay, thank you very much for that update. I know we would be waiting for your story at the 8 p.m. news. By then, many discussions would be
unfold, yeah.
Yes, at the end of the day. So
thank you, Aliou.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bande and Lolly. Back to you in the studio on Kairaba Avenue.
Thank you. So Lolly, very important.
Yeah, so we look forward to seeing more.
Quite attended by dignitaries, and happy to see the media also taking up the challenge to make sure all these conversations are dispensed outside. So at the end of the time, I believe there will be fruitful resolutions and discussions as far as this event is concerned. Yes. So this is all we have for today, and we'll be back here tomorrow, Lolly. And I'm hoping Lolly to be here with me again. Balde
is really advocating for me to be here.
You have to be here. It's Pink October.
I'll think about it.
We have to pink it.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, so viewers, until then, do have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.